Welcome to the Optum Rx Pharmacy Insights Podcast. In this forum, we'll discuss the latest and most impactful events in pharmacy benefit management. Today's episode will focus on transparency and the market forces driving the pharmaceutical industry. Today, I'm joined by John Mahrt, President and Chief Operating Officer of Optum Rx. Welcome, John. Appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
John, let's begin from a foundational perspective. Can you talk a little bit about what Optum Rx does from a core business standpoint?
Sure. Great place to start. So Optum Rx, comprehensive pharmacy care management, pharmacy care services company, really serving constituents across the healthcare ecosystem. I'll focus the core of our business, pharmacy benefit manager or PBM, serving, essentially employers, health plans, labor groups, those folks that are looking to provide health benefits. And so for them, we provide full pharmacy benefit management, plan design, all the way through administration, clinical programming is really helping them to manage and administer the pharmacy benefit and stretch that healthcare dollar for their constituents as far as they can. We have a very robust portfolio of consumer or patient-facing services as well under the Optum Rx umbrella. So our integrated pharmacies, a nationwide footprint, 700 Genoa pharmacies. We have our home delivery and specialty pharmacies, infusion pharmacies, our rare and orphan disease pharmacies. So essentially the way to think about it is a pharmacy solution for virtually every pharmacy need that a patient might have. And then, of course, our direct-to-consumer offering, right, through the Optum Store. We have our cash card offerings as well. So a robust and growing direct-to-consumer offering, offering both kind of cash prescriptions as well as, a full array of other pharmacy-oriented and pharmacy-related healthcare products.
John, it seems that increasingly, pharmacy benefit managers and pharmacy pricing are coming up more and more in the mainstream media. What are the forces you think that are driving this?
Sure. Well, you're right. It's coming, mainstream media, certainly Capitol Hill, popular right now on the policymaking fronts. And top of the list are the same things that are on our mind, Scott. Affordability, that is top of the list, right? Providing affordable access to prescription drugs. And when affordability becomes an issue, it hits a lot of radars. And affordability is an issue today. When you peel back the layers, then there's maybe, perhaps a kind of a historical lack of transparency in the space, right? How does pricing work? How does money get from the pocket of the consumer or the plan sponsor to pharma, and what happens in the middle? And so, really some lack of transparency. And so, but behind that, I think, again, it really boils down to affordable access to prescription drugs, putting this front and center.
John, that term, I heard you say transparency. That's been a pretty hot topic, right, in healthcare over the last several years. From an employer standpoint, what does transparency mean really in the pharmacy pricing space?
Yes, I love that. I love that question, Scott. It's one that we talk about frequently and really have done a lot of work to understand and to ensure that when we use the word transparency, we can look eyeball to eyeball with any one of our employer clients, any client, and ensure that we're saying the same thing and that we're attacking it the same way. I think it starts with trust, and then it's, how do you bring that trust to life is how I like to think about it. And so transparency then starts with full visibility to drug pricing. We've been in the market, with pass-through pricing options, but it's full visibility to how that drug pricing is worked and how the modeling is done. And then it's what I call the flow of money visibility, right? And I kind of touched on this, but as rebates are paid by pharma, it's being able to be very transparent and demonstrate that the dollar is making it back to that client, to that employer. So we've attacked this a number of ways. We were first to market with Pre-Check My Script, Now, more than 90% of prescribers across the country have access. What that does is it says, hey, when you're in the prescriber's office, you see a price, it's going to match the price that you pay at the pharmacy counter. And so it allows the physician to have, an eyeball to eyeball discussion while the patient is in their office. We then, late last year, went into the market with our new pricing models for our clients. And what these allow our clients to do is to choose a fully pass-through, very predictable pricing model that gives them complete transparency and predictability. And then in January of this year, we launched Price Edge. And Price Edge is our consumer-facing tool, and it allows members to, at their fingertips, ensure that they're always getting the lowest available price, on or off benefit. And so already this year, we have more than 1 million members enrolled. We've saved them more than $4.5 million, another 90 clients going live as we speak. And a pretty aggressive, pretty ambitious roadmap behind this. Let's see, Price Edge 2.0 in the market with additional capabilities and being able to fully leverage the lowest cash price, both on and off benefit.
John, some of those transparency examples you gave from a pricing perspective, I think make a lot of sense. What other types of transparency are your clients demanding from you in Optum Rx?
So I kind of started at the top of the pharmacy benefit life cycle. And, what I would clarify, I think, it's not so much what the clients are demanding. What clients demand is transparency, and what they see, they don't see the entire kind of scope of how drug prices are negotiated. And so what they're asking for and what they want is for us to come forward and talk to them about how the full system works. And that's what our clients are embracing. So at the top, we have wowed our clients with full transparency on how formulary decisions are made, right? Showing them that we're putting the lowest net cost drug on the formulary and showing them the math, showing them the spreadsheet. That has really, really resonated with our clients. Second is visibility into how both pharma contracting and drug procurement work. That's a bit of a mystery to most of our clients. And so I like to bring our clients to the table and we walk through how pharma contracting gets done. What are the elements involved in pharma contracting? How does drug procurement get done, right? And ultimately then, how is a drug price determined? And so just being willing to show them that, is also really resonating. Reporting. Our clients want very granular reporting, right? And so being willing to say, hey, I will show you that reporting down to the patient level, down to the NDC level, down to the individual drug level is really resonating with our clients. Then modeling. They want to know as they make certain decisions, what will be the impact on their spend? And Scott, I think your team is doing just a tremendous work in this space and helping to guide our clients with, very transparently. It's not that we're pushing toward a point of view. We're educating our clients and then providing models for how it will impact their spend. And then finally, behind all of that are the most comprehensive audit rights in the industry, right? That allow us to provide full flow of money visibility from pharma through a group purchasing organization, which is headquartered in the US with pharma contracts that are on US paper, all the way through the PBM and to the client. And so it's that comprehensive suite of transparent business practices that resonate with our clients.
John, it seems that the only thing that is constant in the healthcare industry is change. Historically, as you look back, how has Optum Rx contracted from a pricing standpoint with plan sponsors in the past? And how is that changing now with these cost made clear pricing models that you referenced earlier?
Sure. So the good news for us is in the past, we've always provided, Scott, as you know, traditional options and then pass-through options. We've really made it client choice. What's changed now is the education, the resource, the visibility, and the modeling that we're providing behind that. And now we're providing additional options. And so as we're in the market this year, we announced late last year, again, took an industry leading position on this and launched our cost made clear models. And included in those models are, there's a pass-through model. So what we pay the pharmacy, we reimburse the pharmacy is what you as the client pay. It increases transparency, lowers ingredient costs for our plan sponsors. And then we included another, which is a cost clarity model, right? And what cost clarity does is leverages, a reference price or a cost baseline. In this case, it's NADAC. NADAC stands for the National Average Drug Acquisition Cost, and then wholesale acquisition cost, to establish a kind of a reference price or a baseline price that, again, clients can use for some level of predictability. And so, these models then serve to lower ingredient costs. They align incentives for us, right? It's really about, how effectively we negotiate our agreements. But I think what our clients most appreciate is that, one, they have the option. They have choice now, right, Scott? And as they have that choice, they can choose the transparent option that works for them. And they get all of that value with a very simple admin fee. So it becomes very easy to explain.
So, John, you mentioned a simple admin fee. If I were a client, I would ask, well, what does that admin fee get me? So can you talk a little bit about the value that admin fee provides back to a client or a plan sponsor?
Sure. So, I started at your very first question to me was, our core business. I explained a little bit about what a PBM or a pharmacy benefit manager does. And so when you think about, the thousands of Optum Rx team members in the PBM that do things like formulary design, Scott, there's a lot of work, full independent pharmacy and therapeutics committee with physicians from across the industry, vetting all of the drugs that are in the market, choosing the most efficacious drugs, making sure we have formularies that meet every patient's needs. So there's a lot of work that goes into formulary design. Then you have formulary administration, managing. There's new drugs coming to market, drug availability, drugs pulled off the market, but administering the formulary. Of course, negotiating. Once you have the formulary, going and negotiating with pharma. We have a very large, industry relations team that does just that. Then there's procuring the drug, right? The benefit plan design, something that your team works closely with clients on, Scott, in understanding the choices that are available and understanding which clinical programs we should deploy based on very unique population needs. Maybe it's putting a diabetes program in place, or deploying one of our behavioral health or our opioid program. So there's a vast array of clinical programs designed to address the specific needs of a population. And then, of course, you have the day-to-day, right? The member care, customer service, all the benefit setup and administration and changes made throughout the year. So all of that rolls into an admin fee that is now very simple, easy to understand, and predictable.
John, Optum Rx has really always been active on the innovation front. So this certainly is not the first innovation from Optum Rx aimed at evolving and transforming the PBM model. Can you really take a few minutes and explain to us how this fits into the broader scope of Optum Rx initiatives?
Sure. So, I'll go back to where I started, and really some of your questions about what is driving scrutiny, what gets attention, access, affordability, and transparency, right? Access, affordability, and transparency. And so you see our focus throughout the year, the investments that we make throughout the year are placed in the advancement of those three imperatives: access, affordability, and transparency. And so when you evaluate some of the work, just if I look in the not so distant past, or I start to look, to the future, it's innovations in and really market leading positions that allow us to drive each of these. So I'll give a couple of examples. Biosimilars. We were first to market with an industry leading biosimilar position, right? Our biosimilar position was innovative. It provided choice in the class, right? And we allow our clients to put the low list price biosimilar on the formulary as well, right? So just a really different way of thinking and a really different way of leading in. Your team, Scott, has done some great work with the critical drug affordability list, something that you know that I'm especially passionate about, right? And so, that says, hey, we're going to look across these life-sustaining drugs, and we're going to work with each client to provide the affordability needed such that these critical drugs can be provided at $0 or reduced copays, right? And it's the hands-on kind of consulting that goes that goes along with that. I mentioned at the top of this call, price edge, right? When I'll back up before that, when we launched Pre-Check My Script several years ago, it was new and innovative, and we were told it'll take us 10 years, right? It'll take us years to get this pushed out. We're at 90% of the market now on that tool. And physicians want more, and physicians want to see cost to plan. And there's a pretty ambitious roadmap behind the transparency there. But now layer in price edge, which just 2 years ago, we were told you'll break the PBM, right? And now it's our hottest offering in the market because it provides a solution for both transparency and for affordability, right? We're removing those barriers. And the affordability is for both the consumer looking for the lowest price available and for our clients, for our plan sponsors, where sometimes cash is the lowest available, and they can allow the patient to go to cash and still take credit toward the accumulator or toward the deductible out-of-pocket max. And then there's a vast assortment of, we're tackling the hardest problems in pharmacy right now, as you know, Scott. Specialty management, a robust portfolio of specialty management solutions under the specialty fusion umbrella that are delivering material savings for our clients, north of $15 PM, and really resonating. One of our hottest products right now coming out of there is a medical rebate product, an industry-leading solution on that front. We are deep into the development of obesity management solutions. I've hosted pharma for a couple of days now of working sessions, really getting deep into how are we going to lower the list price of those drugs. And then when those drugs are prescribed and dispensed, how are we going to make sure that they're effective? So combining those weight loss medications with programming around utilization management, other behavioral change, behavior modification programming to ensure that they get the most bang for the buck, the healthiest employee or member of their plan that's possible.
John, I want to thank you for taking some time today to discuss some of the exciting things you and your colleagues are working on at Optum Rx. So thanks again, and really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Scott. We're having a lot of fun, and sincerely appreciate the time today.
Thanks for listening to the Pharmacy Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Draeger.